Hey, I got a question to all the girls watching this video, even though it's probably an astronomically low amount of them. Who's your dream guy? Is it this guy? No? What about him? Not him either. You're a tough cookie. Oh, I know who it is. It's me, isn't it? You can't blame a brother for trying. I don't know if this is a trend that started like recently. I don't really think it is, but for some reason, a lot of the girls nowadays have this obsession with dudes being 6 foot.
5'3".
What's the minimum height that you would date?
6'1". 5'7". Minimum height 6 foot.
Are you?
5'3".
What's the minimum height that you would date?
5'11".
How tall are you?
5'6".
What's the minimum height that you would date?
Like 6 foot. 5'9".
What's the minimum height that you would date?
For real, like 6'3". Like 5 flat.
What's the minimum height that you would date?
5'11". 5'7".
What's the minimum height that you would date?
6 foot.
5'6", like 6'2".
How tall are you?
5'4".
What's the minimum height that you would date?
6 foot.
5'3", 6 foot.
How tall are you?
5 foot.
What's the minimum height that you would date in a guy?
6 cause
5'2". I would say 6 feet, but I like me like a 6'2" man.
Are you?
5'8".
What's the minimum height that you would date in a guy?
6 foot.
Now, I'm not gonna lie, as a short king myself, I'm 5'8". I never really understood this way of thinking. Because if you didn't see from that video, a lot of those girls are a lot shorter than 6 feet. Some of them literally a foot shorter than 6 foot. So I couldn't really understand like why it matters so much. Why do girls want dudes to be 6 foot so bad? So that made me have to do a little research. And when I say research, I mean just talking to a few girls I know and asking them why they actually want dudes to be this tall. And I'm gonna go over those points and break down why I think most of them are dumb. One, it's just my preference or I think it looks better. Now, realistically, I can't argue with the fact that you think it looks better. Because if we're being honest, a lot of dudes like assets on girls that have no functionality.
Yeah, on some of these shorts, some gray shorts. She had on Meek t-shirt. Her ass is so big.
They just look kind of nice. So I can't really say too much about that. And honestly, I 100% get it if you're like 5'8", 5'9". If you're a tall girl, I would almost assume that you want a tall dude by default. Nobody wants to take pictures looking like this. Bro, I'm not gonna lie, that would actually kill my ego, and I know from my friends I would never hear the end of it. Honestly, on the flip side, I could agree with it too, because I will never ever, under any circumstances, never, even if my arm was tied, even if a gun was to my head, date a girl that's taller than me. I just can't do it. I'm sorry, I'm not climbing trees. It's just not in my blood. I said the thing I don't understand about this are the girls who are a lot shorter than 6 foot, 5'2", 5 foot. Because I get it, you might want to look up at your man, but is it really necessary for you to be looking up at a skyscraper? I don't know, not in the mind of a girl, and honestly, if I understood that aspect, we would probably have deeper problems. One thing I don't like about this is a lot of the times when girls try to argue about this, they'll say that their preference is just like a dude not liking big girls. And that's completely different, and I'm gonna tell you why. No offense to my big boned people out there, but when somebody's obese, it's an indicator of their discipline. It shows if they are willing to eat right. It shows if they are willing to exercise. People's physical appearance that they can ultimately control, and I want to emphasize that, the ones that they can control can be an indicator of their inner personality. Now, I'm not talking about people with eating disorders or people with some sort of disease that prevents them from losing weight. That's completely different. But I think that's why on the flip side, a lot of people, men and women, like to see someone who's in shape. It shows their discipline, and it shows something about the person to be able to put in the work to get there. Now, some people are just blessed with amazing physiques. You know, me being one of them. The second reason a lot of girls told me they like dudes who are 6 feet is because they wanted to be protected. They wanted to have a dude who they felt like could fight. And honestly, I feel like this just boils down to ignorance. Because first and foremost, just because a dude is tall does not mean he can fight or that he is actually strong. Truth be told, if you're over 6 foot and under 180, you're probably pretty weak. I have a friend who's 6'1" and weighs 10 pounds less than me. And no offense to him, but he's pretty weak. I remember we went to the gym and he tried to put 2 10s on the squat bar and could not do it. I'm sorry, buddy, if you watch this video, I didn't mean to expose you like that, but they ain't gonna know who I'm talking about. Now, Bradley Martin or whatever that bodybuilder guy would disagree with me.
You think you beat me in a street fight?
Huh?
You think you beat me in a street fight?
You in a street fight?
Yeah.
You're a podcaster, brother.
I love it. So the answer is then yes, yeah?
Of course.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, not you personal though, but anybody, any size is like easy.
No, I was talking about me.
Yeah.
Because I asked Devin Haney. Devin Haney thought the boxer, he thought he beat me in a street fight 150.
Yeah, but yeah, he probably f you up too though.
I don't understand why he feels like just because he's a certain weight and height that he thinks he could beat up literally world champions. As somebody who's trained in various combat sports myself, I can tell you that I have beat up a lot of tall people and people who were legitimately bigger than me. In fact, when I was wrestling, my training partner was 220. And at that time, I was wrestling 145. And to be fair, I was just never worried about him just overpowering me. Now, also to be a little bit more transparent, I have been regarded as a stronger individual. Back in high school when they made us weightlift and max and all that stuff, my squat max was 350 or something like that, and my bench was 260, I believe. I know some of the gym bros who are watching this video might not be as impressed at those numbers, but I do want you to keep in mind, whenever we maxed, we were literally cutting weight, which if you don't know, makes you significantly weaker. So if I was actually able to eat right and drink more than 1 bottle of water per day, I might have been able to do more. And yes, I'm not exaggerating. I literally could drink 1 bottle of water per day to make weight. I'm so glad I don't do that no more. That was terrible. Another reason I feel like this argument is flawed though is the fact that exists. Like twin, I don't know if you see what year we're in, but a lot of people don't fight anymore. And no matter how big you are, no matter how much you train, a $500, $600 purchase can negate all that. To be honest, a $20, $25 purchase can negate all that. If you never watched that video where all martial arts try to go against a knife, they literally all got murked. It's hard to fight against somebody that have any type of weapon. So the thought of somebody being able to protect you just because they're big, this is not realistic. So what you need to do is find somebody who can shoot. One more thing before we move on to the next one. If you're grown and you're worried about somebody fighting, what are you actually doing in your life? I understand sometimes things are out of your hands and stuff, but the likelihood of you actually having to get into a fight is really low, unless you're living a certain type of lifestyle. And if you're living a lifestyle that constantly gets you into fights, maybe you should do some more deep thinking about the way you're living. The third reason I heard is because they're better in, yeah, as a dude, I don't really have nothing to say about that. So I guess girls, y'all comment y'all experience with that. This whole video was actually inspired by a conversation I had with one of my jiu-jitsu partners. And he was telling me about this thing called the female delusion calculator. Because like I said, it's a lot of girls who think this way. And to see how likely it is that you will actually land your dream man, I'm gonna do that test now. So if it isn't apparent to you what this calculator is supposed to do, it's supposed to see how likely it is that you will get a man of a certain height and a certain amount of financial status. So let's go. I think most people are looking for people who are probably between 21 and maybe, let's go 30. I'm speaking to the youth here, so that's who I'm gonna focus on. Any color or shade, yeah, you know, like our girls foreign over here. Minimum income, what's the average income? All right, average income is $60,000. That's what we're gonna put. And minimum height is 6 foot. Let's see what's the odds of that. All right, 3.4%. That's the likelihood you got. Now let's dig a little deeper, because a lot of girls say they want a dude who's 6 foot and makes 100K. Why they have a fascination with dudes making 100K, I have no idea, but let's see how likely that is. All right, 1.1%. The crazy part about this is you also have to remember that a lot of girls are probably chopped and bring nothing to the table. So we have to split this in half, meaning that your eyes are probably realistically 0.5%. Well, that is all the research that I have done into that. And that brings me to my final point, the conclusion. I don't know if you know, like, none of this is real, bro. I know girls say this type of stuff all the time, but it's not true. Honestly, most of the girls that I've actually seen in person will usually talk to a dude as long as he's just taller than her. In the 100K thing, girls who are superficial might care, but a girl who is actually worth your time will not. As long as you're stable and working to something is what I've heard most of the time. I understand that a lot of people say dating nowadays is super hard. Girls want these unrealistic standards, but I just haven't found that to be true a lot of the time. Most of the time what I've seen is just because dudes lack social skills, they lack game, and as a result, no girls want them, and they blame it on these type of extrinsic factors when that's not always the case. I have seen dudes who have been literally 5'4" be able to get girls with no problem. The only dude that I have ever seen struggle with girls because of his height was literally like 5'2". But yes, if you're a dude worrying about that affecting your ability to attract women, it's not a real thing. Like I told you, I'm 5'8". I have a girlfriend. And truth be told, I've never in my entire life had a girl tell me that they would not talk to me because I was 5'8". And girls, if you do actually think like that, I hope you wouldn't be as superficial to just look at something that ultimately somebody has no control over to dictate if they're worth your time or not. More of the story, love who loves you, and don't look at superficial reasons for validation. Anyway, that's all I got to say about that. If you liked the video, leave a like, comment, subscribe, do all the things. Look, wait, before you go, twin.
Bye.